Hello there, this is PH Daniel Sanchez, and in this video I'm gonna show you how to create surreal portraits in your home studio.
What's going on? We're about to do a photo shoot.
Most of my fine art photography and surreal work has been created through tools that I can find anywhere in any stores, or just things that I can find around me. This is a photo shoot that I did almost 4 years ago, that I still use those photographs for my current fine art photography work because it was an amazing photo shoot. I still had my entry-level DSLR camera, my D5100. I had kit lenses during that photo shoot. I didn't have any fancy equipment, but I had a concept in mind. One of the first things that I did to set up this photo shoot was finding the right lighting setup. And in this particular occasion, I wanted to combine the motions and the movements of my performer and combine it with some abstraction through a slow exposure photography. It's kind of an interesting concept that it's been done before, but it was an idea that I always wanted to play with. So in order to spice it up a little bit, I decided to add gels, kind of do a light painting with the movements of my performer. I found these color gift paper wraps that I thought it could be a great substitution for a photography gel. So I used those color paper wraps to put them on top of my light sources. And like this, I would be able to get this really cool surrealistic effect. In order to execute this assignment, you must have a tripod. You cannot do this handheld. Another thing that really helped me is I downloaded a free app so I can trigger my camera through my phone, and that way I could avoid any unnecessary blur caused by the camera shake. So one of the things that I learned is that in order to absorb more light, you have to have a really close aperture, probably somewhere in the lines of f11 to f19. I was able to keep my ISO very low just because I was shooting a long exposure. So I had a 1 second exposure and I tried both. I tried a half-second exposure and a 1 second exposure. I took the photograph with my speed lights as if it were any other photograph, meaning that I didn't change the settings to trigger the flash at the end of the exposure. That's a technique you can do on your camera. Actually, you can set up your camera to trigger the flash at the end of the exposure. So I didn't do any of that. Actually, I just triggered the flashes as I clicked on the camera. I directed my model to start adding motion once he saw the flash being triggered by the camera. What this would do is that the one frame that is captured with the speed light, this would give me a one frame that is completely in focus. Then everything else is the color being burned by the movement created by the performer. Subtle movements work best when doing slow exposures. If the performer is moving too fast, you're not gonna give enough time to your camera to record the movements and give you those really nice abstract shapes. So basically, subtle movements work best with slow exposures. Try to avoid texture backgrounds. I feel like working with solid color backgrounds work best because the center of attention is the movements created by your performer. The other reason why I had intentionally a solid color background, it was because I wanted to extract the subject from the background in post-production. But one of the things that I learned is that it's a really complicated process. You need to have a solid color background in order to kind of make it easier, but still you're silhouetting blur, so that's a really challenging process. Right now there are tools in Photoshop that allow you to do that, selectively selecting the areas that you want to silhouette, and then the software actually does an amazing job extracting the elements that you want. The organic shapes that I got from the interactions with my performer, that was the final piece. I tried several things, several concepts, adding more textures, replacing backgrounds, but I felt like it was overkilling what I already had done. I realized that the less post-production you do with this technique, it's the best. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please share it with your friends, leave a comment below if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time.